this is probably the part of the meeting that they can relate to most, is they'll do a meeting and the client will end the meeting with, send over all the information on an email and I'll get back to you. They end the meeting and then they get ghosted, or they just get a message a day after saying, yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
I've got a huge thing about to go over this, but
yeah. No, you go through it, mate.
You've got to ask yourself, why have they said, send all over the information and I'll get back to you? Why is that? And why are they, and a lot of people message me saying they never get back to me a call. They just ghost me. They don't pick up the calls. They don't answer my emails. Why is that? And the reason that they're not doing that, the reason they're not replying, let's scrap the reason why they're not working with you. The reason why they're not replying to you, even to that point, is you've not built that common ground with them that we mentioned at the beginning of this video of respect. That like, why, if you respect someone, you're going to reply to them. Like if you text me, Tom, I'm going to reply to you. If any of our clients message us, I'm going to reply to them because I respect them. They're replying to you out of a lack of respect and a lack of common ground, because in that meeting, you've not shown an interest in them as a person. You've just dived straight into, I need your business. You need to pay me money. If you establish that relationship, and a relationship's the key word. Like what sales without building a relationship? I'd class sales as relationship building, really.
It's virtually it.
Yeah, exactly. So if that's one massive part of the meeting that you need to focus on, like the presentation's fine, but if you're not building that relationship person to person, then you're going to really struggle, because there's no respect there and they're not going to get back to you.
No.
So that's part one. In terms of them asking to send a presentation over, that's just them needing more time, and potentially you've not handled the meeting in the correct way, or I don't know, what would you add to that of why they'd want, start with why they'd want you to send a proposal over? I mean, the proposal's normal, but
yeah, well, half the time they want you to send a proposal over is because they've not made notes. So they've probably not made enough notes, and they haven't got the memory retention, like all people. Most people only remember 3 things of a presentation. Fact. That is something I was taught very early. If they can come away from a presentation with 3 things that you've said, then you've won that. You haven't won, but that's effective. Most people can't even remember 3. So, and a lot of people still don't take notes. Now, therefore, everything needs to be confirmed in a proposal, so they can look at it and go, oh yeah, right, fine, yes or no. Now, the other reason why someone would say, send me over a proposal, is as an excuse to get you the fuck off the phone.
Yeah.
Easy one. So they go, yeah, no, I understand. I know what you're saying. Just send it all through and I'll look at it, with no intention of ever either looking at it and getting back to you. That's ultimate ghost traits. Okay. You should be able to pick up on that. And if that's happening to you regularly, then there's something you're doing wrong in your presentation, where you're leaving a huge element of doubt in their head, so that you've either not come from a place of authority, as we've spoken about in the podcast, you've not answered all the questions that they have in their head, but you've not asked them and they're not willing to tell you. So there's a big gray area of the unknown that you still haven't covered. Therefore, some of it is using an excuse, some of it is genuine because they haven't made notes and they actually want to see it afterwards. But you do have to ensure that do not leave and do it. But if a client says to you, do you know what, oh, just send it through and I'll have a look at it. Before you do that, you should say to them, look, before I leave this call, is there any uncertainty that you have in the process or in me? I would like to talk about it now if there is one.
Yeah.
I also think when you ask it, be quiet and don't fill the gap.
Yeah.
Really hard, but
I think there's a time and a place to send that proposal over. Like once you've had that Zoom call or a meeting, like a longer discussion, send a proposal. But I'd never send a proposal on the back of a first cold call. Like I wouldn't cold call someone, them not want to take a meeting with us, and they say send a proposal, and then we put a proposal together. I'd recommend against that, wouldn't you?
Completely.
Yeah, like that's not when you put a proposal together. If they're not willing to at least take a meeting with you, don't send a proposal together. If they ask you, just say, John, in order to put together a correct proposal, we need to have a more in-depth discussion about what your needs are, like what your goals are in your business and what we can do for you. Then you can put the proposal together.
You don't buy a wedding dress without having it like fitted, tailored, and everything is in the right way and in the right order before you spend $4,000 on it.
Exactly.
It's the same with this. You can't just send through a proposal. It has to be tailored, has to be measured, and everything has to be in place. So that you're really doing yourself a disjustice if you're just sending proposals through and hoping they're just going to buy it on a whim, like you would, buy a beer at a bar.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think that's where, when people ask me, how can you put a presentation together before you have an initial presentation to gather all that information? And I think a presentation is very different to a proposal. And because a proposal can include your price, and the presentation can include price if you know exactly what services they need. For example, if we went on to a dentist, we'd include the price on that presentation because we know we have like a dental package of what they need and what their best results are. But if we're working with an info product brand and they might need new products made, they might need more consultancy, they might need a value ladder built for them, or more sales pages than usual, stuff like that, then it needs that initial call to figure out, not the cold call, a middle call, and then the proposal and potentially a follow-up call. So it's every client's very different, and it depends on how knowledgeable you are on that kind of project, I think.
Completely agree. I think that's pretty much, in terms of conducting a successful SMMA meeting, I think they're all the key elements. There's lots of things involved, but the other thing that we'll just finish on this. The other thing is make sure you feel relaxed.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big one. Breathe, don't over stress about it. Don't overthink about it. Don't overdo it. Just relax, chill. The worst thing that's going to happen is they don't take you up on your offer. The best thing that's going to happen is you land $1,000 to $1,500 to $2,000, $4,000 a month client. It's, you just chill, relax, take a deep breath, and actually try to enjoy it. Enjoy the process and smile whilst you're doing it, because that will make you seem genuine. It will relax you. And I think a big, big part of that is every presentation that I do to a client, I really enjoy. I thrive on it. It's one of the best parts of the job, if I'm being completely honest. So just relax. And when I think back on my time, over the last few years, building the agency and building the business up, some of the best moments are when I'm on calls with clients and and I get them over the line and doing the proposal is fun, and it should be seen as fun. Yeah, it's a really great feeling. So really, those listening, you should really enjoy it, relax. And when you're relaxed, you will go with the wind, and it will sail you through, I promise you.
Yeah. And my final point is just remember you're talking to a person. That's like huge. You're not in a lecture theatre on stage talking to a big group of people trying to convince them that digital marketing is the best thing since sliced bread. It's just a conversation, business owner to business owner. You want to help them. You want, a financial return from them for giving them the good service, and have fun. Like the amount of times we've had a fucking good laugh on calls with these clients, just laughing about just fucking anything that's been happening in their lives, been happening with our lives. And
we barely know them at this point. Barely know them, and some of them are not even clients with us at this stage. We've gone through a proposal, and we've laid out our cards on how we think it can work and help for us and for them. But we've had a good time doing it, and we've got to know them, and we've had a laugh at the end of the call. And when I get to that point, you always think, my God, this is a no-brainer. Why would they ever want to work with anyone else?
Yeah.
Ever. Than Tom and Harry. It's just, for me, it becomes a no-brainer.
No, it's really exciting. And I can't wait for, everyone listening to this to experience it as well. And hopefully this video's got you a bit closer in your direction to signing your first or next client, and it's potentially changed your opinion on how to operate a good meeting.